We are the ones who don't know what we're fighting for. Give us a gun and send us all off to war. We are the ones who grow up in violent homes. We are the ones who don't know what's right or wrong. I know. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who are born into war. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck no more. No more. We are the ones who don't know why we're losing score. Give them a badge so they can send us to the morgue. We are the ones who are scared to walk out the door. We are the ones who don't know what we're dying for. I know. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who are born into war. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck. No. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who are born into war. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck no more. No. Get off his fucking neck. The man makes you no He can't fucking breathe. The man makes you no We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who are born into war. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck. No. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who are born into war. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck no more. No.
Warning: this podcast features adult subject matter, adult language, and things not meant for children to hear. Viewer discretion is advised. You've been warned.
If it's Thursday, you are tuned in to the first official dual streamed episode of the I'm No Joe podcast. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of appropriate ages. Fuck you, YouTube's automatic copyright system. This is the latest episode of the I'm No Joe podcast, the show where every armchair quarterback can feel like Brady Bravo. Today, as like most days, I have got a glorious panel here with me to break down all these shit talking and shenanigans, the fight announcements and fuckery, and all the interesting things that have trickled out the MMA pipeline since we saw you wonderful folks last. Before we get into all that fun and fuckery, though, first off, gentlemen, how you doing over there?
Living the dream. Just got done golfing. Literally just hopped out of the shower at the last minute to make the show. Although I will say, Twitch needs to get their shit together. Saying need to be following for a month before I can fucking chat over there. Saying some bullshit.
Yeah, that's not right.
And also, could hit the subscribe button if there fucking was one, but there's not. Come on, Twitch, get your shit together. YouTube, we're already there.
Ridiculousness.
That's kind of shitty to hear. It didn't used to be that way. I know you used to be able to follow and just chat along, unless they were in sub only mode or some shit like that. But weird stuff. Glad
That's
to be
weird.
back. Glad we got another good fight night for the most part. It's just some hangovers. Next week, the hangover.
There we go. Chat should be fixed there. There we go. Yeah, Twitch is fucking weird.
There we go. Now we're cooking with diesel. I see it.
All right, good deal. Sorry, I have not streamed to Twitch other than doing test streams for this particular setup in almost a year now, since they started changing shit over there. But that being said, we should be good to go, broadcasting clearly on YouTube and over on Twitch. YouTube's being weird, so fuckers. That being said, we're going to start things off the way that we usually do, with a little bit of news and recent events, fight announcements, fight cancellations, rumor confirmations, things of that nature, relevant things to you fine folks in the fight world. First off, if you did not watch it last weekend, I accept partial responsibility because I forgot to remind everyone. The Karate Combat Heavyweight Grand Prix tournament went down last weekend, and holy shit, was it a sight to behold. Robelis Despania knocks out 2 of his 3 opponents to set himself up for a title match against Smilin' Sam Alvey later on this year for the Heavyweight Karate Combat belt. In the process of those 3 fights, Robelis Despain broke multiple fingers and one of his feet. In the process, fought through the whole goddamn thing the way that they used to do it back in the old school days. Very, very fucking cool to watch. Very cool to see Robelis Despania getting all sorts of fucking success after the UFC threw him away after a fucking short run with them. So very nice to see that. I will absolutely make a point to keep everybody more up to date on the finalization of that matchup and the heavyweight Grand Prix over in Karate Combat as they announce that information. That said, going forward, we got a bunch of fight announcements this week. The first one, UFC Noche 3, going down September 13th, now from San Antonio because the whole Guadalajara thing got fucked up. Tatiana Suarez finally stepping back into the cage, taking on Amanda Lemos. UFC realistically should have let Lemos go a while ago. They're kind of just hanging on to her for name value at this point, and this kind of proves that point because Tatiana surely does not deserve to be at the top of that division anymore, but they're going to throw her against Lemos, and then when she beats the shit out of Lemos, they're going to say, oh, look, she's ready for another title shot. So calling it now, but I'm pretty sure that's how that one's going to play out. That being said, we got a trio of announcements. The entire top cap of UFC 320 announced for us this week. That'll be going down October 4th from the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Officially, the People's Co-Main event, Yuri Prohaska versus Khalil Roundtree, the fight we've all been fucking calling for. The co-main event, Merab Dvalishvili defending his bantamweight belt against Corey Sandhagen. And the main event, Magomed Ankalaev versus versus Alex Pereira to the run back to seal that card off. That is fucking spectacular, in my opinion. That is going to be a damn good card in Las Vegas. Excuse me. What is it? 2 weeks after that? Yeah, 2 weeks after UFC 320, UFC Vancouver. Jasmine Jasdovicius taking on Manon Fiorot. They're trying to put Jasmine into that fucking title picture, and if she gets past Manon, she's there. I'm telling you right now, they're itching to throw her at the fucking belt the way she's been performing lately, and if she can get past the French gal, she is knocking on the fucking door. UFC's going to push it, I'm telling you now. The following week, October 25th is now, we know, officially UFC 321 from Abu Dhabi. Got a very interesting fight added to it here. Alexander Rakic versus Azamat Murzakanov. They have been trying to push Murzakanov, but he has just been shitting the bed every time they trot him out. Rakic needs a big win to get back into the top and into the title contention again. This might be that one. And in Abu Dhabi, Mirzakanov's going to have a huge crowd rooting for him over there. So if Rakic can go in on the pay-per-view and get that one done, he's pretty much back in the title picture, just the same as Jazz Davicius is trying to get herself. So interesting ones. Interesting one all around. The big one, though. The big one that they announced this week. We've literally been waiting for this announcement for a year and almost 3 months at this point. 18, no, more than that, a year and 6 months, because it's 18 months at this point. So a full year and a half we've been waiting for this announcement, but it's finally here. Tom Aspinall will officially make his first heavyweight title champion defense in Abu Dhabi against Cyril Gane as the main event. Cyril Gane has apparently somehow made himself the male version of Holly Holm. This will be his third title shot in a row, losses in both of the previous ones, and no fights in between them. So I'm not sure if the UFC is just trying to give Tom a layup here, which this fight kind of is for him, or if they're going to use this as an excuse to cut Cyril after Tom beats the shit out of him. Either way, it's nice to see that the UFC is finally getting Tom back into the rotation and letting him do so as the rightful champion that he should have always been, especially considering all the bullshit that Jones tried to pull this week, and seeing him get shot down at every turn just made it that much sweeter. Johnny Boy's got all he could fucking handle, and now the real champion gets to get the division moving once again, and I'm fucking stoked for it. Got a couple interesting ones to round out the news here. The first one, in my opinion, one of the most important and the most exciting pieces of news. Despite everything that has happened, the ups and downs and the oh my gods in the last couple of months, this week, Ben Askren has officially been released from the hospital and sent home after his double lung transplant. After all the shit that went on, dying 4 fucking times in the process of getting this all sorted out, he now officially has the double lung transplant. The body is taking care of itself. The body is adapting, and they have released him from the fucking hospital. He is officially home. That is fucking spectacular. I hope we see nothing but better fucking recovery news, quick recovery news from him, getting back to it, getting healthy. Fucking A. That is awesome to fucking hear. The video of him in the car with his wife driving away from the hospital, you could see the joy on his face being out of that fucking building now. So very fucking cool. Ben Askren is on the fucking mend. Now, back on the other side of things here, we got official confirmation. This was not just a show. This was not all talk. Amanda Nunes is officially re-entered into the testing pool for the UFC, despite Amanda trying to say, or not Amanda, but Kayla trying to say all that shit about how she would allow Amanda an exemption for the testing pool for the right amount of extra money and all this bullshit. She can fuck off. Amanda's the real champ. She's doing it the way a real champ should. She's going to get back in the pool, prove she's clean. Then she's going to beat the shit out of Kayla and send that bitch off into the sunset and make us all giggle. But Amanda is officially back in the fucking testing pool. Speaking of bitches, Cody Brundage and his team officially filed an appeal from that UFC Atlanta card a couple months back. And the Georgia State Athletic Commission has officially overturned his judge's decision loss because there was a head clash foul in the beginning of the third round. They went to judge's decision. Judge's decision was for Mansour Malik, who was beating the shit out of Cody Brundage. Well, according to the Georgia state bylaws, no round that is incomplete is allowed to be turned in for a judge's score within the state of Georgia magically. So they decided that their Georgia state rules supersede the universal rules set down by the ABC that all of combat sports follows, and they overturned his fucking loss to a no contest. They can call it a no contest. It's still a loss. He got his ass beat until he leaned in and caused a head clash that he couldn't continue from. So fuck Cody Brundage. Fuck his no contests. That being said, speaking of stupid things, last one I've got this week, it is official. The Nevada State Athletic Commission has officially extended Sean Strickland's suspension until they can have a full hearing on the incident. For those of you who somehow are not aware, Sean Strickland and Chris Curtis were quartering a teammate at the Tough Enough organization's card a couple weeks back, and were talking shit through the cage to the guy. The guy submitted their teammate, stuck his tongue out at them through the cage, and then gave him a nice DX chop as they announced him the winner. Sean Strickland and Chris Curtis charged the cage. Sean Strickland punches the dude. Chris Curtis grabs the dude by the throat before security can get in and set everyone up. Best part, the guy that they grabbed is an active duty police officer. Luckily for them, he agreed not to press charges, but seeing as how this incident happened, it is now being handled by the Athletic Commission. No word on what's going to happen to Chris Curtis yet for his role in it, but as of right now, Sean Strickland is officially suspended until there is a full disciplinary hearing on his actions. And seeing as how the vast majority of Sean Strickland's fights happen in Las Vegas, this is not good for him, as it should be. That being said, though, that is what I've got for news for this week. Either one of you gentlemen have anything I might have missed?
Absolutely nothing that is noteworthy.
Good deal. All right. Well, in that case, that will bring us to the point where if you've been watching combat sports as long as most of us have been watching combat sports, you start to learn what you like to watch and when it comes on and how to watch it. And after so long, you start to develop a set of metaphorical blinders, if you will. You start to lose the forest for the trees. Luckily for us here on the show, we have ourselves a bona fide young person who's out there diligently and delicately fingering the pulse of the MMA world to help keep us abreast of all the names that are going to be names before they are names in a little segment that we call Slows, Cans, and Contenders.
Appreciate you, brother. Start off with throwing everything in the trash here. Not quite everything, but a good majority of it. You throw that ladies fight in the trash for sure in my eyes. Amanda Ribas, Tabitha Ricci. I think I would lean towards Ricci winning the fight, but I don't think this one's going to be worth much of a damn. Ribas is coming in here 1-3 in her last 4. Tabitha's been kind of back and forth herself. Don't think it's going to be very exciting. I would say the same thing about Bryce Mitchell trying to make his bantamweight debut. Even more so with who he's fighting. The Nurmagomedov that's not related to the other Nurmagomedovs. Saeed Nurmagomedov. The dude is just okay. He's not like the actual Habib family, right? He's not the greatest grappler. He's not the greatest striker. He's just kind of mid-level everywhere. Bryce maybe gets that win, but I feel like it's kind of a snoozer of a fight. Muslim Salikov, dude is 41 years old, and I think he's going to get knocked the fuck out this weekend. Don't even know why he's on the card here. And then I feel like the Ivo Aslan and Billy Elikana fight. Same thing. This is a layup that they're trying to give to Aslan, but Aslan has just looked so lackluster since he's gotten in the UFC his first few fights already. I was high on him coming off the Contender Series to a point, and he just kind of immediately fizzled out as soon as he got in. And I already don't really care to see how this one goes. On the fence shit for me, I've got Bobby Knuckles as my contender fighter this week. I still feel like Robert Whitaker is like Max, man. He's only 34 years old. It feels like Bobby Knuckles is a lot older than he is because the dude's been in the fucking UFC for over 15 years. He's been fighting for a long fucking time at this point. He's been in a lot of fights. I still feel like he's got a lot left in the tank. The Hamzat situation was what it was. Damn sure don't feel like he's going to be like, what do you call it, gun shy coming in this fight. He's had his teeth busted out before. I think Robert Whitaker's going to have some fire under his ass. And the grappling of DeRitter, while it may be good, is not the monster of Hamzat Chimaev. So I really like Bobby Knuckles' chances to have a good bounce back win here off of a guy that's won every fight since coming into the UFC, was a former champion, won championship. It'd be a decent little win for Bobby Knuckles to bounce back in. He'll keep his top 5 spot. Still have a chance to go on one last fucking run before the end of his career. Be nice to see that kind of come to fruition. One last good go at it, just like we saw Dustin give us last weekend. And I got to fight as a whole. Could be a really good fucking fight, and it could be a big stink middleweight fight between Shara Bullet and Marc-Andre Barrier. The way that Barrier fought in his last one against Bruno Silva sent that dude fucking packing with a goddamn hole in his skull. That was badass shit. He does that again to Shara Bullet, it's going to be a fun time. Shara Bullet at least stands up and tries to strike. Kid's not the greatest. He hasn't shown that he's got a great gas tank. He's literally blind in one eye. But he's given us a couple of fun moments already. A couple of okay knockouts and spinning fucking back fist. The fact that the kid does go out there and fight half blind like Michael Bisping used to do, he tries to give you the best exciting fight that he can. You know, it could go bad, could go good. That's why I got it on the can today. It could literally just be a snooze fest where nothing much happens, or a really just sloppy fight where there's just no technical skill shown whatsoever. It could be a banger where somebody gets put to sleep, or we get a nice little war between the two of them. We'll see how it shakes out. The true contenders for this week, though, I was going to put the what was supposed to be co-main event on. You know, the Pico and Evloev fight. That guy got fucked. Evloev did the Evloev thing, pulled out of a fight once again. Still haven't gotten it confirmed that they're even rebooking it on that August pay-per-view. So that's not looking great either. But the ones that are still on the card, Timon Blackshear, I'm still really high on this kid. He's a damn good grappler. He's got quite a few finishes in his career. This is a nice little test that he's getting in Davey Grant. Davey is a hell of a fucking veteran. Yeah, he's on that older side. He is damn sure at the end of his fucking career. But he is tough as all fucking hell. He's like Darren Elkins. That's how I viewed Davey Grant slightly. He's kind of like the Damage. He goes in there and he's get or get got. He's going to give you everything he's fucking got. He is going to take all the damage in the world and still keep fucking coming. And could damn sure make that an exciting fight. Timon's going to try to wrestle and grapple more, but he's going to have to fucking strike with Davey Grant. That's going to be a tough test for him. If he gets past it, I'm going to enjoy seeing that. We got Jose Ochoa, 24-year-old, finished all 8 of his wins, 7 of them by knockout, and knocked out Cody Durden just back in June on that Atlanta card. Definitely excited to see how that kid continues to move on. Fight Nasuo Almabayev, that's a nice little step up, get him towards those rankings. And Almabayev's a good test. Dude's a fucking grappler as well. He's going to make it hard as hell for Jose to even keep the fight standing. If he can keep it standing and work that fucking magic that he's been working, it'll be fun to see. Another guy with some power in his hands, Carlos Leal. I would not say he's a prospect. 31 years old, but the dude has potential to hop up there and get into some fun scraps at welterweight. I would say he's got a little ways to go before you get anywhere close to the rankings, but I love the knockout power. Just like we've seen out of Carlos Prates, he has himself a little run like that, get a handful of wins, have some finishes. Dude could become a contender. Bogdan Guskov, Uzbeki fucking Anthony Smith. Light heavyweight needs some true fun, and dude's been fun since he came to the UFC. And he's got his own little gimmick. Getting the call on Uzbeki Anthony Smith literally looks damn near spot on to Anthony, not just because he's bald. Dude's been exciting. He's got a little power in his hands, and I think he's going to look good this weekend, and that'll definitely put him in a decent spot in that fucking division. Be pretty easy to climb up, too. Another couple wins, shoot him right up there. And then I would say the fight that I'm the most excited for. I mean, main event. Don't get me wrong. Exciting as hell. But the 2 bantamweights going at it this weekend is probably the thing I'm looking forward to the most. Marcus McGeehee, I've been talking about for the past couple of years. High on this kid, and he's getting the fucking Sean O'Malley treatment. And to me, it's more deserving. This kid's actually been exciting as hell since he came in the UFC. Truly knocking dudes out. Finishing his fucking fights. Already had a handful of fights in the UFC. Finished damn near every one of them. Hasn't had names yet. It's the same situation as O'Malley. He hasn't really gotten those tough names or tough fights since he's cracked into the top 15. But a lot of that's been because of dudes not fighting him. Other guys in top 10, top 15 getting booked against each other, and the other ones that are still in there just refusing to try to let a guy that just got in work his way up the ranking. We see this shit time and time again of all these dudes trying to hold on to their spots, clogging up these fucking divisions. So good on Peter Young. He tried to do the same shit. He tried to hold on every last little bit he could, try to ask for a title shot, all this ridiculous shit, even though he knows he's not deserving of that. Tried everything he could to not take this fight, but he was kind of forced into taking this fight. Respect on him. You did sign. We're here. We're at fight week. He's going to get it on. And Peter Yan is one of those dudes exciting to fucking watch. He's got some slick boxing. He's got some power in his hands for a 135er. I think the dude's kind of more towards the end of his career at this point, especially once you get into those lower weight classes. But it's funny. I was talking to Vinny about that earlier today too. Technically, McGee's older than Peter Yan, but I still think McGee's the contender that I'm excited to see go on this nice little run. He does what O'Malley did and beat Peter Yan, automatically throws him in the picture. He immediately gets put in that top 5 kind of situation. So to me, this is the most exciting fight. It's a huge fucking test for this kid. Like I said, he hasn't had any huge names, even though he's coming to the UFC, taking it by storm real quick by getting a handful of finishes. Looking forward to seeing how this one goes. Damn sure don't think he's getting a finish in this one, but that is exactly how you put yourself in that title picture even further. You go out there and do something that hasn't been done. I don't know if at all, but especially recent, I don't think anybody's knocked out Peter Yan. It'd be a good time. Like to hear what you boys got to say. And, you know, like I said, to me, it's not a full hangover card. That's what we're getting next week. At least we got a good handful of fights, good bit of shit to be excited about on this card. It's not complete crap one like they like to throw at us after a nice little pay-per-view.
Well, it's not the worst hangover card we've ever had. I'll give it that. However, it's still a hangover card. And pardon me trying to pay attention because I'm trying to do multitasking here, but as far as I'll start this way. The vast majority of the undercard here is fucking garbage, in my opinion. I'm in agreement here. I don't think with a lot of what Christian said. Muslim Salikov, too fucking old to be here. Don't get me wrong. When he first came into the UFC, he was a good solid middleman. He was never going to be the top guy, but he was a good solid middleman. Carlos Leal is on his way up, and they literally tossed a softball to him. Not that I think Carlos Leal is a world breaker, but he's definitely getting to that middleman category. The premier prelim fight in Bryce Mitchell and Said Nurmagomedov. Look, that fight is just as bad as it sounds. To be honest, I don't like the idea of Bryce going to bantamweight, but on the other side of that, he definitely wasn't doing it in the other division. There's a reason why he was getting flatlined so often. Maybe this will help him. Who knows? We'll see. Fight as a whole, because I really don't like either of them. Davy Grant and Damon Blackshear can go right to it. However, the caveat to that statement is both of them are going to put on a decent performance. Davy Grant is a guy that he doesn't really have boring fights. He is a fucking I'm either going out on my shield or I'm going to put somebody out. Damon Blackshear, he's been like the black sheep, is what I'll call him. He's one that he's part of the UFC family, but you don't know why he's fucking there. Mandar Ribas, Tabitha Ricci, that is an immediate fucking can fight to me. There's nothing exciting in the world about those two girls fighting that makes any sense. I am fairly, I won't say excited, but I'll say fairly interested in the light heavyweight opener for the main card in Nikita Krylov and Bogdan Guskov. Nikita Krylov, he's getting up there in fucking age. He's not the same Nikita that we saw when he broke onto the MMA scene. Bogdan Guskov is a untattooed fucking light heavyweight version of fucking Smith. That's all there is to it. But he's not that bad. I don't think he'll ever get the title at light heavyweight, but he can definitely hover in around the top 10, top 15 area. I don't think we'll see him break into the top 5, but I've been proven wrong before. But this fight does have some implications in it because, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, Nikita is fucking ranked like number 11 or 10 or something like that. Oh, oh, he's 12. All right. Excuse me. And Bogdan's right there, so it could prove a moving point or it's a moving point for either of them. So I will say as a whole, just because I don't know how that fight is going to play out, I'm going to give it a contenders area because it could be an exciting fight, but it could also end up being really fucking boring 3 rounds. But it does have some implications for that light heavyweight division as far as who's going to be the gatekeeper to getting into the rankings type situation. And Asus Mabayev and Jose Ochoa. Ochoa hasn't looked bad. He's, I'll put it this way. He had a rough first outing in the UFC, but he proved he definitely needs to be here in his second outing with that quick KO. Jesus has just been a fucking solid fighter all around. And that's a tall fucking task to fucking come in there unranked, third fight in the UFC to fight Jesus. So being as they're flyweights, anything can fucking happen. There's a lot of excitement that is possibility in that fight. I mean, Jesus unfortunately did get knocked out in his last outing by a fucking garbage human being that none of us like. I'm not gonna mention his name because it's not fucking worth it. And no, Choa's got that knockout power in him. There could be some fucking fireworks quick, fast, in a hurry. But overall, that's an excellent fight. That gets contender fight for me, not namely because of the implications that happen here if Ochoa wins. He vaults himself in 3 fights into the fucking rankings. He probably won't get top 10. He'll probably be like 14, 15. But Jesus loses. That drops him out of the rankings from inside the top 10. There's a lot of implications there. That's fucking fantastic. Um, Shara Bullet Magomedov and Marc-Andre Barrial. This is kind of a throwaway fight for me. Well, there is the fucking excitement of the button masher and Shara Bullet. Marc-Andre Barrial is a drive forward and fucking hit what's in front of him person. Shara Bullet is, what's the best way to put this? Shara Bullet reminds me of Chun-Li in fucking goddamn Street Fighter. Got a really cool move that's easy to do, but it doesn't always win you fights. Marc-Andre Barrialt, on the other hand, he's kind of like that middle of the road E Honda type character where you know he's solid, he's got some cool shit going on, but we're never gonna see him win the entire fucking game. It just works that way. But so as a whole, I can't call it a contender. I can't call it a fucking can because to be honest, both of them are kind of right where they belong. They're good middle of the road fighters. They both deserve to be here in the UFC, but neither one of them are title challenger or top tier worthy. Pideon and Marcus McGee. Marcus McGee has been on fire lately. And for an older gentleman, and I say that loosely because I mean, to be fair, I'm older than most fighters on the fucking UFC roster. I'll put it that way. Marcus McGee is only 35 years old. He's not old in terms of fighting, but he's old because he's been here a while and he's finally got his shit together. But he's taken on a tall challenge in fucking Petr Yan. Jan's been here, he's been a champ. He fell off a little bit, but seems to have gotten himself back on the right side again. This fight has fireworks. In my opinion, this could be the fight of the night category, right, for these two. Bantamweights, speaking of that, who in their right mind does fucking Bryce Mitchell think he is coming in to try to fight guys like this at bantamweight? This is fucking crazy. This right here, contender fight all day long. Patreon comes out and puts a stamp on it. He might stamp his shot at another title shot. Marcus McGee, on the other hand, he's got a big chance for a big upset here and vaulting himself into title contention. I won't say being the next in line, but in contention into that top 5 category. This fight has contender all over it, and there's a ton of implications behind it. Not to mention, they're bantamweights. They're gonna be fucking exciting. They got a lot of fucking energy. And speaking of fucking a lot to go around, that main event in Robert Whitaker and Renner DeRitter, this is another contender fight. Not because of how I think the fight's gonna play out, purely the implications behind it. Does Bobby Knuckles keep himself up in the top 5 in that category of, yeah, I could possibly pull out another shot at a title? Or does Renner DeRitter come in here and ruin the party like he's been doing for fucking everyone in the UFC right now? And yeah, to be fair, Renner DeRitter does have some pretty good ground game. But we also forget he's a great Dutch kickboxer. So I think this is going to be a pretty good standing affair. If it gets to the ground, Robert has a much better chance of getting up than he did getting against Hamzat. Hamzat's fucking ground game is immaculate. Now, if he could punch a little better, he'd be really well off, but we're not talking about him right now. But as a whole, this fight, contender, purely on the implications for both fighters that's going on here. It should be an all right stand-up fight. We know what kind of striker Bobby Knuckles is. We saw a small snippet of what Renner DeRitter can do at UFC level caliber in his last outing. But he was also fighting somebody who is not a fucking boxer. He was a straight fucking wrestler. So, there is that. Um, yeah, as a whole, fight card's really not that bad. We've had way worse hangover cards. In fact, there's some stuff to be slightly excited about on here. And for those of you who are not night owls, this is a great card for you because it happens in the middle of the fucking day. I think the early prelims start at like 11 a.m. Central Time. So, and I say early prelims. There's no early prelims, just the prelims. This isn't a pay-per-view card. We don't get early ones. Well, I mean, technically it's early because it's 11 in the morning, but who's counting? We're splitting hairs here. Moving on.
I agree. It is not the worst hangover card we have seen this year. It is, at least on paper, by and large, better than what we're looking at for next week. But it is still very much a hangover card in that the vast majority of these fights don't really have a whole lot of implications for their divisions. They don't have a whole lot of implications for the organization as a whole going forward. There's a lot of what we like to refer to as contractual obligation fights going down on this card. Fights because the UFC legally has to offer everyone on the roster 3 fights per year to keep them on the roster. This is for the folks that said yes and they went, oh shit, he said yes. Send him to Abu Dhabi. We're getting a lot of those. That being said, there are still some good fights mixed into this fucking fight. Marcus Buchecha is opening the fucking card. I have been saying for years now that if he ever makes his way to the UFC, he could do some serious damage. And in typical UFC fashion, they waited until he's already essentially done with his fighting career to give him the opportunity. That being said, Martin Boudet is far from a fucking world breaker that they're going to throw him up against. He's not full can status. I won't say he's got the Campbell's label across his belly, but he's definitely a scratch and dent item kind of fighter. Buchecha should be able to come out and put on a highlight reel debut to the UFC over there against Boudet. That I'm curious about. I am a little interested in Ibo Aslan versus Billy Alekina, however, I've heard him say it both ways. Both of those dudes are fairly young to the UFC, but have both shown there's fun potential in both of those guys, and it's very much a potential Rock'em Sock'em Robot phone booth fucking clash to go on in that one. I'm kind of curious to see how that plays out. I think that one could be fun. The ladies' fight on this card is pretty much a contractual obligation card, or obligation fight rather. Doesn't really matter which one of them wins. Neither one of them are really going to make much movement in terms of the division off of the other's name. Putting on a good performance could help, but there's not really a lot of wiggle room for either one of them in their division right now, especially with the run that both of them are kind of in the middle of. Could still be a fun fight. Could also very well be 15 minutes of swinging at air going, We'll see. We'll see. I agree. I think Davey Grant is a very good journeyman, but I have a feeling that Damon Blackshear has probably got his number. Blackshear has been on a hell of a quiet little run. He's not really getting a whole lot of recognition, but he's doing the damn thing, and he's doing it pretty fucking significantly. If Davey Grant comes out cold like we've seen him before, he might not get a chance to turn that fucking switch, because Damon Blackshear does not waste a lot of time. He very much comes out ready to fucking roll from the opening bell. So that could be a very fun fight. I agree with TJ. Muslim versus Leal. There's not only does this fight not belong on this card, there's no reason for this fight to happen. This is very much one of those that should be on an early prelim of a pay-per-view card, knowing that no one's not going to watch it. But in the middle of an Abu Dhabi card that's going to be, this fight is probably going to take place about 1:30 in the afternoon in the States here. This is when most of the people are going to be starting to go, oh yeah, there was a UFC today, isn't there? And starting to tune in. That's not the fight that you really want the casuals to be randomly flipping to the channel and finding. I'm telling you right now, I'll give it a 1% chance to be interesting. That fight's going to suck dick for change, I'm telling you. Unless something dramatic happens between now and Saturday, that one's going to blow. That being said, then we get to see what's really left of Bryce Mitchell. He has sounded exactly as ignorant on the microphone all week this week as he has any other time, but he also is one of those dipshits who's going to do the vast majority of his weight cutting the night before weigh-ins, because that's the type of dipshit he is. And now going down another weight class, that extra 10 pounds, we very well could see a camo colored fucking skeleton on the scale Friday. If he makes 135, which I'm still not 100% sold he's going to be able to do, but if he makes 135, he might not be going up against the most accredited world breaker, but Said Nurmagomedov has had his entire career essentially at bantamweight. He's fighting against dude comfortable how and where he's fighting in a place that they're all going to be rooting for him against Bryce. Traditionally, Bryce generally does better when he's got the crowd in his favor, but he's also never cut to 135. So he's got everything against him in this matchup. And Nurmagomedov isn't the most elite finisher, but he can finish, and he does have finishes on his record in the UFC. If he comes in knowing he's got that crowd supporting him, knowing that this guy's making his first ever cut to the new weight class, Nurmagomedov could surprise us here. He's not the Khabib kind, but he does have some tricks in his bag still. He might be able to just shut Bryce Mitchell the fuck up and get the UFC to go, well, there's nothing left for you. Have fun, kid. Go back to CFFC. I'm an evil bastard. I'm hoping Nurmagomedov fucks him up in the first round and we don't have to see Bryce anywhere anymore. But we'll see how that actually plays out. I'm not terribly interested in Krylov versus blank Anthony Smith canvas. There's potential for it to be a little interesting, but like TJ mentioned, this is not the Nikita Krylov that used to come out and scorch motherfuckers that could do crazy shit from all over the place at any point in the fight. he just ain't that dude no more, man. We say it all the time. Father Time is undefeated in the fight game. It's only a matter of when does he catch you, not if, because he will. It feels like he's got Nikita Krylov's fucking collar, and he's about to slow him down to stop. Can Bogdan be the one to do that? We'll see. The next fight, though, like both of these guys I mentioned, Asiu Almabaya versus Jose Ochoa. Unless something crazy happens, this is my call for fight of the night right here. These two dudes are Energizer bunnies that just don't fucking stop going. Either fucking one of them. I'm calling the bullshit last outing for Almabayev a fucking fluke. I'm calling it. Fuck that dude. That was a fluke, and I think Almabayev is here to prove that. Maybe not by going out for the finish, but giving it every goddamn thing he's got. And I think these two are going to fucking go ham Saturday afternoon. I think this one, in my opinion, has front runner status for being the best fucking fight of the night. The One-Eyed Pirate versus Power Bar could be interesting. It very well could. I think it's going to be a long 15-minute back and forth. I think it's going to be Shar trying to do a lot of spinny flashy shit. I think it's going to be a lot of Mark trying to get his ass to the ground because that's where he rules. Magomedov does have decent ground defense, though. He can pop back up. We've seen it a couple times. It's, in my opinion, going to come down to, can Magomedov clip Barriel enough to stop him? Because Mark's hittable, and he doesn't have the greatest chin, unfortunately. Or can Mark get the one-eyed wonder down to the ground and hold him there long enough to either land some ground and pound himself or get a good submission, because Magomedov doesn't necessarily have the best jiu-jitsu that we've seen. It could be interesting. It could be interesting for sure. But the main and co-main, these are not fight night main and co-main events, in my opinion. This setup right here could have been put on one of the in-between big pay-per-views later on in the year very easily, in my opinion. Peter Yan is trying, scratching, and clawing with everything his little body has to get back to the top. And it's not really making a whole lot of progress. Yes, he's looking better, but the UFC is still not giving him a whole lot of opportunities to get back to the top where he used to be. And then on the other side of that, Marcus McGee is another one of those dudes who's just been quietly stacking up great win after great win after great win. And he's getting into that undeniable category now, to the extent that most people I've talked to about this card don't even know who the fuck he is. And he's fighter Peter Yan, who most people I've talked about this week do know who he is, for good reason. That says a lot, in my opinion. The casual folks are starting to become aware here, or will be by Saturday anyway, depending on how this fight shakes loose. Jan's never one to be counted out, but McGee has been quietly fucking building it together and putting his fucking I's dots and his T's crosses, man. It could be interesting. It could be real interesting. The main event, though. Oh, this fucking main event has implications not only across the division, but in terms of both of their careers here. Bobby Knuckles needs a big win. He needs a real big win to get back up there, because he's not getting any younger. And yeah, he came back from the Kamzat thing and he's good to go. His teeth are cool and shit. But Robert Whittaker is another one that Father Time has got his fingers in the collar, and it's almost there. I love Robert Whittaker. He's been one of my favorite fucking UFC fighters for a long goddamn time. But we're getting to that point where realistically, how much is left in the tank? He is essentially on his last title run at this point. He's got to put together the RDR fight and then potentially one more big win, and then he could really be there. But does he have enough time left in him to be able to do that? The way things have been going, if RDR comes out here and shuts him down, there's a real possibility we see Bobby Knuckles lay his gloves down in Abu Dhabi. I don't want to. I don't want it to go that way. I don't want to see that. But with the way things have been going, if RDR gets a nice fucking first round KO or a fucking strong sub in like early 2, there's a distinct possibility this might be the last ride of Bobby Knuckles, period. I don't know. But on the other side of that, if the Dutch Knight rises, motherfucker, you better buy a ticket for that train because it's going to the fucking big house. I'm telling you right now, they're going to put the boots to him. This is his third fight in the fucking UFC. They gave him Bo Nickel, and now they're putting him right into Artie or to fucking Bobby Knuckles here. Like, they're not playing around with DeRitter. They understand the potential they've got in him, and he understands that Father Time is reaching for that collar and ain't too far away himself. But RDR has been doing the goddamn thing every time he's got the chance to go out there. This is a fun fucking fight, in my opinion. This one's going to be good, one way or the other. This is very much a matchup of two gentlemen who are allergic to boring fights. They're going to break out in fucking punches. Main event's going to be probably the best one of the night if Amabaya versus Ochoa doesn't take it.
Appreciate both of you boys trying to help break that shit down. Definitely at least get some fun fights. That's for sure. Always look at the bright side, man.
Thank you very much. Much appreciated, sir. So that being said, if you are new to the show, because we are dual streaming over to Twitch and here on YouTube, first and foremost, thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you. We generally try and do these shows here live every Thursday night when there are big fights to talk about. We don't necessarily go by the UFC schedule strictly to the books, but most other fight organizations generally do. So we try and keep with the consensus here. You can find us pretty much every Thursday. There are fights to talk about live over on youtube.com/@I'mNoJoe and now potentially at twitch.tv/I'mNoJoe as well. If you cannot catch the live version, do not worry. The replays both stay up on Twitch as long as they will leave it up, and on YouTube for good. If you don't catch the replay on purpose, I understand. We also own mirrors for that reason. The week after we go live, we put the all audio version up over on anchor.fm/I'mNoJoe. Pick it up to your podcast consumption platform of choice, Google, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever. It's all there. It's all free. It's all good. You good over there? Okay, well, then that being said, that will bring us to the only segment of the show that does require its own individual disclaimer. So, if you will. Tapology in no way, shape, or form supports, sponsors, or endorses the I'm No Joe podcast. Yet. That being said, Tapology does give you the option to go onto their website, make yourself a free account, and make fantasy-style MMA picks, like we do here on the show. They even let you make groups over there, so we made one. It's called I'm No Bookie, all one word, or Group 965, however you need to find it. The group is open to the public. You are welcomed and encouraged. Go make yourself a free account, join the group, and then let us know who you are, and we will hold your picks accountable with our picks in a little thing that we call Tapology with TJ.
All right. I'm going to say it right now. Who the fuck let me three-peat? Back to back to back weeks in the group. Fucking. Who did it? Who fucking did it? But there is other praise that needs to be made, though. Not to myself, but directly to Christian and Vinny. Good job on keeping yourselves off of the radar and picking opposites this week. Well done. You guys are fucking fantastic. Love to see it. Way to fight the powers. Power to the people. Oh, with all of that being said, there was a hell of a fight down towards the bottom of the pack this week. And fucking Meter and Vindog fighting to see who was going to stomp on their dick the hardest. They were taking turns with it. Like, no, I'm going to stomp harder. No, I'm going to stomp harder. No, I'm going to stomp harder. Finally, Meter must have just gave up, or he must have stomped a little too hard at one point and let Vindog take it. Both of them 6'14", correct. They were sub 500 this week. A little strange, considering both of them have been on top of everything. So, a little strange to have a couple of guys in the sub 500, but as a whole, the group did well. Everyone was in the positives, minus those two, but as a group, we were well over the 500 mark on our picks. So, well done. But, just saying, 3 weeks in a row, that's fucking crazy. I haven't done that in a long fucking time, and it's about fucking time. I'll put it that way. However, to be honest, that really could have gone anyway. But I think everyone in the fucking group did not see the main card playing out the way the main card played out last week, with the exception of the main event, I think. But the rest of those fights on the main card were really fucking weird. They went a lot of different ways that nobody expected. With that being said, we are in the final week of the Summer Grand Prix, which ends here in Abu Dhabi on Saturday. Early fight card. So, without further ado, we'll do a quick rundown of who is running the show with the five of us in the group right now for the Grand Prix. To nobody's surprise, when you run 3 weeks in a row, you take the top spot and you stick there. 3,770 points, 56 of 84 correct so far. Christian, not far behind, 3375, 52 of 84 so far. Findog, even with a bad week, still sitting in the 3 spot at 3170, 53 of 96 correct. The meter roughing it out over there at 3035, 47 of 84, but not to be outdone and having the worst record so far. 44 of 84, 2,655 points. Not a snowball's chance in hell that he takes first place. Don River Tour himself. Now, for those of you who don't know, Tapology is absolutely free. You can join it yourself for free. We know you like free because you're tuning in to watch us for free, either on YouTube or on Twitch. That is, unless you're subscribed on Twitch or you're a member of the Patreon, which is streaming across the bottom of the screen below. There's a link below for it. Little as $1 a month, that'll get you in. But if you do like the free stuff, come over and join us over on Tapology, Group 965 on NoBookie. Let us know who you are. We'll pat you on the back when you do well. We'll let you know when you stomp on your dick, or whether or not you're fucking flapping your beef curtains a little too low to the ground if you're female variety. Guess what? We don't care. Come join us. It's all in good fun. It's nothing but bragging and talking shit rights. That's it. No more, no less. Doesn't cost you a dime. So if you want to get involved in the next Grand Prix, join us in the next couple of weeks here before our next Grand Prix gets set up, and we'll get you invites out. Just let us know who you are, and we'll have you invited. Now, with all that being said, we're going to move on to this coming week here in the UFC, was it ABC 9 card that they've got going on? It's funny, ABC 9. Of course, they're ABCing it out of fucking Abu Dhabi. Well done, boys. You're gentlemen and a bunch of scrotums. This week, we're going to do something that I have not yet used, and I'm going to pull odds from Europe. So a little bit of European odds here for you. There is a place called Jazz Bet over in Europe, and we're going to use their odds this week. So know that depending on where you're looking at your odds, they may fucking vary. I've been finding it kind of fun to use different fucking betting platforms odds because they all vary a little bit. So, but there are some wide odds on the card, not super wide according to them. If you go other places, they're a little wider. But we're gonna stick here with Jazz. We'll start here with just some run-of-the-mill mediocre wide odds here. We're gonna start with Muhammad Yaha and Stephen Wynn. Jesus Christ, I can't talk. I've got Wynn coming in at a minus 423 favorite over a plus 283 in Muhammad Yaha. Or Yaha. Yaya. There you go. Excuse me. Again, fucking tongue, brain don't want to work. Opening fight on the card. Bruchicha and Boudet. We got Boudet coming in as a plus 242 underdog. Bruchicha a minus 350. Meter was saying it earlier, there's a reason behind that. Let's just hope he doesn't shit the bed in his inaugural fucking inset into the UFC, and those odds will hold true. Ibo Aslan, Billy Aklena. Oh, God, I can't fucking talk. Doesn't matter. Aslan coming in as a minus 342 favorite. Billy a plus 238 underdog. Not a huge surprise there. It kind of makes sense, even though, to be fair, neither one of them are really worth a damn, in my opinion. Oh, fight we talked about briefly here that I said it's going to be something to watch, but it's not going to be the greatest. That's Damon Blackshear and David Grant. Blackshear coming in as a minus 374 favorite over a 256 underdog in Davy Grant. Little wide, not super wide, but it's getting there. Another one that we're gonna cover here is going to be the Muslim Salikov and Carlos Leal. They've got Carlos Leal coming in as a minus 573 favorite over a plus 390 or 359 underdog in Muslim Salikov. Not really surprising. Kind of said it earlier. Salikov's getting long in the tooth. We're not talking out of our ass when we say a lot of this stuff. Sometimes we do because we like a fighter, but for the most part, we're giving you the genuinely correct information here. Now, the widest odds on the fucking card are on the main card, which is fucking crazy to me. Shara Bullet and Marc-Andre Barrial. They've got Shara Bullet coming in right now as a minus 739 favorite over a plus 429 underdog in Marc-Andre Barrial. Apparently, they didn't watch Barrial's last fight where he absolutely sent him to the fucking spirit realm. I think those odds are a little off. Now, remember, I said, depending on where you're looking, the odds may vary where you're at. Oh, as per usual, that's the largest odds on the card. We'll cover the co-main and main, just as normal. The co-main in Patreon and Marcus McGee, surprisingly, kind of wide odds according to them. I've got Patreon coming in as a minus 437 favorite of Marcus McGee, a plus 291. Ironically, a lot of Marcus McGee's fights lately, he has been the fucking underdog. I don't know why these odds aren't a little bit closer. Don't get me wrong, I understand it's Patreon, and he's a fucking solid fighter, has been. He's been a champ for a reason. The dude's not a walk in the park. But I don't think that they're looking at the way that Marcus McGee has rounded out his game and become a more circular fighter. But to be fair, I think the odds are in the right direction. They're just a little wider than they should be. Now, as far as the main event is concerned, Robert Whitaker and René de Ritter, they've got it kind of close to a coin flip. They're giving Whitaker the slightest of edges at a minus 169 favorite over a plus 127 in René de Ritter. Those odds, to be honest, in my opinion, are pretty close to fucking accurate. I see that fight going as a coin flip myself. You could pick it either way. The only thing that is going here is Robert Whitaker has a whole lot more time under the bright lights of the UFC in a main event spot. And that says something. Also, a former champion. But the other side of that, René de Ritter, he's been making some fucking noise. And, well, there's a reason why they're giving him close to coin flip odds. Fucking words are hard tonight. Apparently, playing golf after work and then coming to do this, making you a little tired, doesn't work out so well. But those are the odds for this week here. If you are a bettor, bet responsibly. I'm not advising you on any betting. I want to make that 100% clear. I am not your bookie. There's a reason for the name on this show. We are not a bookie. I'm just giving you random odds from across the internet. So, if you can do it responsibly. But if you win a lot, feel free to sling some my way. I'm not going to complain if I helped you in the least.
Thank you very much, sir. Always appreciated. Excuse me. That being said, that is pretty much all we have got for this particular episode. So, first and foremost, thank you for tuning in. But realize that just because we end things here does not mean that that is the end of the fun. Because tomorrow and pretty much every Friday, this gentleman, wait, he's over here. He's over here. Yeah, he's over here. No, he's over there. He's up there. He's up there. Yeah. This gentleman up there and his other half are going to drop their podcast, the Slow Bake and Contemplate podcast, over at Spreaker.com. You can catch the links to their podcast and their socials and their channel over on the I'm No Joe Discord server, all down in the description, whether you're watching or listening to this. Go click on the links. Tell the boys how good they're doing over there.
Appreciate you, brother. The fun never fucking stops, man. Once you get back around to the best day of the week, hump day, brother Golf T Vapes got his own little show, Foggy Fairway, every Wednesday night around the same time that we do his show. I mean, sometimes it takes some shit off. He rests up every now and again, but if you're into the vapes, you want to learn some mixed recipes, just pop in, show the brother some love. Tune in to the Foggy Fairway and check the brother's stuff out. All of his links and everything should be in the description of the
Thank you, sir. And you're right. I did take this week off. There was 2 absentees, and I was like, you know what? I don't feel like a 2-man show. So it was, fuck it. We'll take a Wednesday off. Fine by me. I had the day off anyways because I had to burn PTO. I appreciate it. Oh, if you don't know, there are 7 days in a week, which means you have a lot of downtime between this episode and the next episode next week. What would one person do with that much time off? Well, let me give you a little advice a little birdie fucking told me. The meter does many things. In fact, if you go down below to the links, Linktree/meter does many things, Linktree/I'm No Joe, doesn't matter which one you go to, it will take you to each and every one of the many things that the meter does do. Let me tell you what, there's a lot of content coming out regularly, and there's more in the fucking chamber. Go, check it out, enjoy it. It's a wonderful time. You will not be disappointed. Every Thursday, we'll be back here. In the meantime, though, go polish up on all the many things that the meter does do.
Thank you very much, sir. Always appreciate it. Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, like TJ mentioned, we try and do the show pretty much every Thursday when there are fights to talk about. You can catch us live on both YouTube and Twitch now, assuming that this doesn't freak out again during the broadcast. Apologies to anybody who was clicked onto the first link when YouTube freaked out and cut us live, but first dual stream experience, what you gonna do? That being said, if you like what we get up to around here, please make sure you give the show a thumbs up, you subscribe, and you turn your notifications on so you don't miss any of the shenanigans we get up to around here. If you don't like what we get up to around here, first and foremost, why the fuck are you still this deep into a podcast that you didn't enjoy? Give it a thumbs down and go fuck yourself. We won't even dispute it. That being said, if you do like what we get up to around here, not only do we do the show here on Thursdays to talk about everything going on the weekends, but when there are pay-per-views coming up, we also bring in our favorite casual to do a little pick of casual cornering here on the show. And then the hour before, 1 hour before the pay-per-views go live, Flintlock and I will jump over and do a thing we call the pregame show and get you hyped for any of the new updates and all of the fights that just didn't get enough love before that pay-per-view starts. That sounds like something you're into. Make sure you're subscribed and your notifications are turned on. If you really like what we get up to around here, best way to help out would be patreon.com/I'm No Joe. For as little as $1 a month, as much as you are comfortable giving, you can help us do all of the things that we do here on the I'm No Joe channel. And as a sign of appreciation, first and foremost, we put your name at the end of every broadcast on this channel to let everyone know how fucking awesome you are helping us do what we do. But on top of that, we also give you, as a Patreon subscriber, unfiltered and unrestricted access to the behind the scenes and the unaired content here on the channel. All the things that got us kicked off of OnlyFans as a podcast. Yes, that happened. And yes, it's still here for the people who pay to help us out. That being said, that is all we've got for this particular episode. So we will catch you fine folks again next Thursday for the next episode. So until then, don't let ignorance stop you. You can root for anything.
In fact, it was a little bit frightening. How do I say goodbye to what we had? The good times.